Hey Facebook, hey FaithWorks families. It's your girl Shanae, or your therapist Shanae. I wanted to come on to talk to you guys today about something that I feel like most Christian women don't really talk about. Um, when I first started these videos, my very first video was about, or like my second, no, maybe my first, was pretty much about how to promote a healthy relationship between you and your husband when your husband goes away on like a business trip. Okay, so I that was probably my most popular video, and I also got some requests in my direct messages for videos on women learning how to be wives. Okay, so this video is called "How a Woman Becomes a Wife" Part One. All right. So first, I always bring the scriptures into it. I mean, I'm not trying to be like super holier than thou or anything, but I always want my work to relate to something that God teaches in his word. All right. So, where are we at? I believe it's Proverbs 18:22. Yes. Proverbs 18:22 says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." All right. So, we know that the men that we want are essentially looking for wives. So I guess my question to pose to you ladies is, are you what he's looking for? All right. So let's get into the video. How a woman becomes a wife. So I wanted to start with this video because I think it's important for women, especially wives who've been in the game for several years, to kind of give other women who are interested in being wives, some tidbits. I do want to have a disclaimer. This is not rules for all. This is not a relationships aren't a situation where it's one size fit all. So definitely, take what I say with a grain of salt, use what you want and leave what you don't. So I just kind of wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned as a therapist, as well as personally, being married for several years. All right. So how a woman becomes a wife. So this is when you guys are in the beginning of your relationship. That's why it's part one. So you're just talking. You're just getting to know each other. First of all, I want to encourage you ladies, like this is the year that, or I guess the millennials, right? These are the years where texting is like such a big deal. But I highly want to discourage that. I want you to encourage or kind of set a standard for yourself to text less and talk more. All right. So how can you kind of ease that in without being demanding or overbearing? You can just kind of say, I don't text that often, only in emergencies. I prefer to talk. I prefer, us to have a conversation on the phone because texting is so impersonal and, pretty much you could say whatever you want via text. Like, but there are some things you're just not going to say to someone's face as well as over the phone. And there's something intimate about the courting process involving actually hearing someone's voice, actually like knowing how they say things. It takes nothing to send a text, good morning, but when you are as a man, you're going through the butterflies of deciding whether or not you should call her, when you should call her. That's a part of courting. And I think with this new technology age, we have become lazy. And we've taken the fun out of courting and getting to know each other and talk and things like that. So I want to encourage you to text less, talk more. I want to encourage you to have a standard as to the mode of your communication. You don't have to do it in a mean way, but just pretty much say, I prefer you to call me. I'm available at this time, and also don't be available all the time. So, I guess you have a standard to when you stop talking on the phone. So, you can't call me after 8, or I don't accept calls after 9, or I'll be in bed by, I don't know, 9:30. So this already from the gate sets a level of standard on how he is to interact with you, right? So number one, it sends messages, I value, my time is valuable. I'm doing something throughout the entire day. There is a cutoff for when you don't have access to me. So I shouldn't be the last priority on your list, because you're not calling me when you're just getting in bed. You're calling me throughout the day because you know that's when I'm available, because that's when I made myself available, right? All right. So definitely set boundaries around talking, hours of talking. Just like they have visitation, I don't answer my phone after 9. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not being mean or picky or anything. Also, this is kind of generalization before I get into the 3 P's. Always have an answer to what you're doing. So if that person calls you, and they're like, "What are you doing?" You're always doing something. You are, "Oh, I just washed my hair." Or I just made some popcorn, a quick little snack for myself. Or I just did my nails. I don't know. I just went for a walk. I just taught myself a new recipe. I just had some tea. I just meditated. I read a book. It's never nothing. I'm waiting all for you to call me, and I'm not doing anything else. I mean, even if that's how you feel, like, you are doing something always with your time. Okay? Because it shows you that your time is valuable. You fill up your time with meaningful things. And you aren't waiting hand and foot with nothing else to do. I was talking to one of the male clients that I had, and pretty much, he talked about him desiring a woman who has a life. She has things that she's doing, and him pretty much having a problem with the fact that she had no friends, she had no life outside of him. So I definitely want to encourage you, always have a life. Always have an answer to what you're doing, okay? So let's get into the 3 P's, all right? And it's not the P that you are thinking about. So how a woman becomes a wife, it's not the P that you might be thinking of. All right, so the first one is processing. Okay, so you are the partner of processing. All right, so let's say he just came out of a bad relationship, or he's dealing with baby mama drama. You are the person that he calls to talk to. Okay, but let's say you're starting to recognize that the conversation is always going toward his ex, his baby mom, the drama, everything like that. You do want to listen. So you do want to be that partner that allows him to talk, that allows him to process his feelings. So what is processing? You're listening, you're open to listening, and you're pretty much creating a safe space for him to confide in you. He is comfortable. He is warm talking to you. You listen to him. Whatever drama he's going with or going through over there, he's not doing that with you. All right. So he's calling you to get a reprieve. All right. So you are allowing him to process. You are his processing partner. However, you have to be mindful to not allow the conversation to always be about the drama, the ex, the old partner. Okay. So what did I say? I said avoid giving advice about the baby mama. You don't speak on that. You listen. Wow. Oh my gosh. Avoid giving advice about what he should do with his kids. That is not your role yet. That is not your role. That is not your position. That's not the part you play. You don't touch that. Okay. But you do want to be that partner where he wants to call you. When something happens, he wants to call you. He wants to speak to you about it because he knows that you'll listen and you won't judge him. You'll give him a safe space to express his feelings, to talk about the issues and problems and headaches that he has over there, all those other people. But with you, he has a sense of peace. With you, he has someone to talk to and create a safe space with. All right. So don't give him any advice. You will share your opinions only when solicited. Okay, like only when he asks you, what you think about this. So you help him process by listening, you're asking questions, and you're giving him feedback only on how you see this affecting him. So you're not saying what you need to do is and that, I would never do that to her. You're not comparing yourself to another woman. You're not talking about his situation because you don't really know. I mean, you know his side, but you don't know the whole side of the situation. But you do want to give him feedback on how you see it's affecting him. So you would say, you sound really upset right now. And I just hate hearing that you are so sad and that you're so upset. And, I really wish that, we can get together and, kind of take your mind off of things. So with you, you're not the drama. You are the peace. You are the opposite of wherever he's coming from. The devil, the Tasmanian devil situation, like, you're not even involved in that. You don't even get yourself caught up mentally in those conversations. You listen and, you're like, listen, like it sounds like it's really stressful for you. Okay. So the first thing you do is process. The second thing you do is persuasion. All right. So how a woman becomes a wife. You want to drop seeds, encouraging him to alleviate that stress and pain. Like I said before, you want to help him kind of say, let's do something else. What can we do to take your mind off of things? You sound so angry right now. Like, what can we do? How can I make it better? Like, how can I, help you calm your nerves or, get you a sense of peace? Just be the opposite of the situation that he's complaining about. Okay. You want to slowly change the narrative and the topic from them or her or whatever is going on to him. Okay. So, babe, this is really, wow. Like, this is really hurting you. How do you feel about all this? Like, change it around on him. Tell him ask him how he thinks it is. Ask him how, it's negatively impacting him. And then you change it into say, well, how can I make that better for you? You're not getting involved in that mess. Your only interest is him. Okay. And then you want to change the narrative from him to us. So how we can work together to alleviate your stress. And that's when you want to start doing fun activities. You want to talk on the phone about fun things. I'm not saying your conversation can't be deep. I think you can definitely form a connection with a person around deep thoughts and deep conversations. But it shouldn't be about something you're like just coming onto the scene about. Like, if you don't know the whole story, you don't really you just don't want to dive into that. It's not your place. It's not your place. You just want to be his processing partner, and then you want to persuade. You want to encourage him to think of ways to cope. You can help him cope with that situation by being the person that he hangs out with when he's stressed, by being the friend that he calls or the woman he calls when he's had a bad day, by, just being that person to change the narrative. You're planting seeds to say, that's over there. It's negatively impacting you. And how can we fix that for you? Because with me, you can fix it. I can make things better. Okay. The third thing you want to do is have patience. So a lot of the strongest women, have really conquered major situations through persuasion. It isn't by being demanding. It isn't by being overbearing. It isn't by being loud or forceful. Most of the times it's about being patient. Okay. And patience is allowing him to pursue you. Now, we're not talking this cat and mouse game and these, games that people get involved in. But you do want to allow him to pursue you, because even the scripture says, he who findeth a wife. So that means he is actively searching. Okay. So if you find yourself searching for him, running after him, wondering where he is, chasing him. You are doing the pursuing. And that, although some women become wives from that's the outlier. Okay? Every man wants a woman that he truly wants and that he truly wants to pursue and that he truly wants to chase. Okay? So you pursue less. You have patience. Fill up your time, have a life, do things. Encourage him to call you. Have set boundaries on talking hours. You can't talk all types of night. You can't talk wee hours in the night because you have stuff to do in the morning. And not to mention, usually in the night is the times where people are trying to get into explicit conversations. And wives, it's not, especially in the beginning, we do not really, we don't participate in that. Like the wife that they're talking about in the Bible, she definitely has standards. She has boundaries. She isn't talking about sex at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning with a man that she wants to potentially marry her in the future. Especially in the beginning. Let me just say, this is, again, part 1. So this is in the beginning, y'all just talking. All right. So you're processing, you're his processing partner. You're allowing him to have a safe space with you to talk to you about things that he's going through. Persuasion, you want to plant seeds to encourage him to change the narrative. So we're not going to take up the whole hour and a half conversation talking about her, talking about family, or, that the drama from that situation. You're going to listen, and then you're going to talk about, wow, like how this is so, you seem so upset. Like, I hate to hear you like this. I really do. I hate to hear you like this. You sound so angry. I wonder what this is doing to your health and your blood pressure. What do you think it's doing? Like, pretty much turning around to see how his situation is a reflection or is having an effect on him. It has nothing to do with you. Okay. You're not going to save it. You're not going to fix it. You're not going to do anything. You're nobody's wife yet. So that's not even your role. So yeah, processing partner, persuasion, plant those seeds, wow, this is really affecting you. I mean, what can we do to like make it better? What can we do to like alleviate your stress? I love to go swimming, or I love to go to the movies, or we should watch such and such, and definitely don't invite anyone over your house, or like, that's just way too intimate. Like, especially if you're in the beginning and you want to be married to someone, a man of substance, I should say this, a man of substance, a man who wants a woman with integrity and virtue is a man who wants a woman with boundaries and with a life, and one who isn't petty to get involved with the other women in his life. Like, I ain't got time for that. No. I'm sorry you're going through this. I see it's really affecting you. Let's go do something fun. Let's go bowling. Let's go, you are the alleviation from that headache. And you're not really working too hard to be that. Like, you're just being you, and you're kind of just taking his mind off of the negative situation that he's involved in. All right. So I hope that helps. Again, this is part 1. I wanted to give you guys this, and I hope I didn't drag on too long. So yeah. So again, Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. So I want you ladies to ask yourself, are you what he's looking for? If he's searching for a wife, are you wife? Are you a wife? And I'm not talking wifey. I'm not talking ride or die. I mean a wife, the wife that is in the Bible. And if not, then we need to do things to help you prepare to be that wife that he's searching for. All right. So I hope you are all safe during this horrific quarantine. My kids are actually sleeping right now for a nap, and I kind of stole away a few minutes while my husband is working. So I just want to encourage you ladies to do that. The 3 P's, and not the one that men probably would be talking about. All right. Please continue to send me topics and message me with a lot of funny family type of topics that you guys have. Like, I think it's so funny to see those in my messages, my direct messages. And yeah, so that's it. Have a wonderful day. And remember, guys, faith works.